Hello students, how are you all? Hope you are staying at home and staying safe. Today we will start a new chapter, that is Animal Life. This is chapter 6 of your book, Animal Life. Now, in order to know the life about the animals, we should know about some simple terms. First is environment. What is environment? Environment is the surrounding that affects the life of all the plants and animals. Now, environment means each and everything around you, like it may be the trees, or it may be the buildings, the rivers, lakes, everything. So, environment consists of two main factors, that is living component and the non-living component. So, the living components are like the trees, animals, you, me, we all are the living component of the environment. And living components are also known as biotic factor. Bio means life. The living factor of the environment are known as biotic factors. And the non-living factors are known as abiotic factors, such as rock, soil, water, wind, air, sunlight. These all are abiotic factors. The biotic factors and abiotic factors are dependent on each other. Rather, you may say they are interdependent. Now we will know how they are interdependent. Let's start with water. Water is very much essential for all plants and animals. Water being an abiotic factor. 70% of our body is made up of water. Even all our life processes such as digestion, circulation, excretion, we all need water for all this purpose. Next, in case of plants, they absorb the minerals those are dissolved in water from their roots. Even water is required for photosynthesis. Next is air. Air is a mixture of gases. Gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen. We need oxygen for respiration. Plants and animals take in oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide. They use this oxygen to break down the food into simple molecules, and those releases energy. Even during photosynthesis, plants take carbon dioxide, which they converted into simple food such as glucose by the process of photosynthesis. Next is soil. Soil provides support to the plants. Soil provides minerals to the plant. Even soil is also a home of different animals such as earthworms, rabbits, snakes. Sunlight. Sunlight is the major source of energy in the living system. With the help of sunlight, the plant can prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. So, sunlight is also an abiotic factor, which is we are dependent on sunlight for food. That is, we may be directly or indirectly dependent on sunlight for food. In order to know about the life of the animals, we should know where the animals live. The place where the animal live and survive is known as its habitat. Now, the habitat is the place where the chances of getting that animal is maximum. If I say what is your habitat, then it should be the place where you live. It is your home, including the area surrounding it. Like you go to the school, that also is included in your habitat. There are 5 major types of habitat. These are forest, desert, polar or mountainous region, oceans and freshwater. In these habitat, different type of organism lives, and you will see they have adapted or they have some special feature to live in those areas. Now let us start with the different type of habitats. Let's start with forest. If you imagine a forest, then it's a large area covered with green trees. It is mostly covered with green vegetation. There are tall trees. The forests are the homes of all the animals which live on trees, such as monkeys, chimpanzees, birds, and also the animals which lives in caves, Those are tiger, lion, and also the animals which lives inside the earth making holes, such as rabbits, snakes, rats. So forest consists of different and diverse type of animals. Now the next one is desert. Whenever you imagine the word desert, it is a long stretch area covered with sand. Yes, it is very hot and it receives very less rainfall. Deserts are very hot during day and very cold during night. They are the homes of some snakes, camels, squirrel, lizards. If you compare with the diversity of forest and desert, forest is a diverse place, it's full of animals. But desert, a very less number of animals lives in desert due to its hectic weather condition. Next one is polar or mountainous region. Polar or mountainous regions are the hilly areas. They are mostly covered with snow. They are extremely cold. The polar regions are mainly the home of polar bear, walrus, penguins, and you will see these animals are adapted to live in those hectic and harsh environmental conditions. Next is ocean. Ocean is a long stretch of water body. You know that ocean, 2/3 of the earth is covered with ocean. It is, the water is salty. That means it contains salt. And it is the home of many aquatic animals such as starfish, shark, different fishes, seahorse, dolphin, octopus, etc., etc. Now, the last one is freshwater. It is a small water body and the water is not salty. So this type of water is called freshwater. It may be a pond, river, lake, and it is the home of many fishes, tortoise, turtles, duck, etc. Depending upon the place where the animal lives, the animals can be categorized into terrestrial animals, aquatic animals. Terrestrial animals are those animals which live on land, and aquatic animals are those animals which lives in water. See, aquatic animals may also be called water animals. Now, there are some animals which can live in both land and as well as in water. This type of animals are known as amphibians. If we think about terrestrial animals, all the animals which live on land, it may be tiger, bird, insects, you, me, we all have pair of limbs. We have limbs. These are called limbs or appendages to walk on the ground. So we all have certain special features. We have lungs to breathe in the air, and the animals which live in water are known as water animals or aquatic animals. They have special organ to swim in water and to take in the oxygen that is dissolved in water. Now, there are some animals which live in both land and water. They are known as amphibians. One common example is frog. These amphibians, they spend a part of their life in water and other part of their life in land. Now we will discuss how different animals breathe in or take in oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide. Depending upon their habitat, they have some special organs to take in oxygen and to give out carbon dioxide. Let's start with the first organ, that is lungs. Lungs are the pair of, they are sacs, spongy sacs. Those are present inside your thoracic cavity or your chest cavity. All the animals, mainly the mammals, reptiles and birds, they have lungs to take in oxygen. The lungs, whenever you take in oxygen from your nose, it goes to your windpipe and then it reaches the lungs. And lungs, they are rich with the blood vessels. Blood vessels means arteries and veins. They are rich in those, and when the oxygen and when the air enters inside your lungs, they are absorbed by the blood vessels, and they are transported to different part of your body. Again, the blood carrying carbon dioxide coming out from the different parts of the body comes to the lungs, and that carbon dioxide diffuses into the air inside the lungs, and when we exhale, that carbon dioxide comes out. The exchange of gases takes place in the lungs in case of mammals, reptiles and birds. Next breathing organ is gills. Gills is found in all aquatic animals such as oysters, crabs, fishes and tadpoles. Gills are also rich in blood vessels. Gills have the special ability to take in the oxygen that is dissolved in water. When the water rich in oxygen enters the gill, it absorbs the oxygen from the water and it takes that oxygen to different part of the body with the help of the blood. And the carbon dioxide coming out from the different parts of the body is taken with the help of blood to the gills, and that gets diffused into the water and that is liberated out of the body. Next breathing organ is air tubes. Air tubes are mainly found in insects. In the body of the insect have some small holes or apertures. Those are known as spiracles. Those spiracle leads to some air tubes. Those are known as trachea. Air gets inside the animals. The air gets inside the insect's body through these spiracles, and then it passes to the network of tubes, air tube. Those are known as trachea, and it reaches to the different part of the body. Next is skin. Some of the organisms, they can breathe by their moist skin, such as earthworm, then frog. Frog, it's a very interesting type of animal. First, it is an amphibian. It lives in both land and water. Next, it shows metamorphosis, that if you see a tadpole that looks like a fish and gets converted into a frog. Now, tadpole have gills, and frog, they have lungs to respire, and they can also respire through their moist skin. Now, in case of microscopic animals such as paramecium, amoeba, they can respire by their body surface. Like plants, animals cannot make their own food. They depend on plants or other animals for food. Depending upon the type of food they intake, animals can be divided into herbivore, carnivore and omnivore. Let's start with herbivores. Herbivores are those animals which eat only plants. Now, all the grazing animals such as deer, sheep, cow, buffalo, goat, they all are herbivores. Even parrot is a herbivore which eat fruits and nuts. Parrot have a strong beak, it's a curved beak and a strong tongue to take in the food. Small animals like rats, squirrels, rabbits, they used to gnaw the seeds, and they are called rodent because they have a long, strong front teeth. They have elongated incisors. Now, coming to carnivores. Carnivores are the flesh-eating animals. Examples are tiger, cheetah, hyena, and they have a special type of teeth. Their canines are modified. They have a strong canines, and those canines are used for tearing the flesh from the animal. There are some birds which are also carnivores such as eagle, vulture, and these type of birds are known as bird of prey. They have a hooked beak to hunt the animals. They hunt small animals such as rabbits, rats or snakes. Now coming to omnivores. The animals which eat both plant products and plant and animals, they are known as omnivores. Example, the most common example are human being. Chimpanzee is also an omnivore. Generally it eats the plants leaves and fruits, and it also eats some termites, ants, and it can also hunt small animals such as baboons, rabbits. So chimpanzee is an omnivore. Other examples of omnivores are bear, crow, human beings. These all depend on both plants and animal for food. Now, how these animals get their food? Just think about the butterflies. Have you seen a butterfly? And how does a butterfly take their food? They have a tube similar to a straw, but that is coiled. That is known as proboscis. Even in case of mosquitoes, you will find they too have a sucking apparatus that is similar to a straw, but it is not coiled. In case of butterfly, it is a long straw-like structure. For frogs, they have sticky tongue, and that tongue can be rolled out from their mouth. And in case of birds, you will find the different type of birds have different type of beaks. If you see the beak of a sparrow, it is very small but strong. That is used for breaking the nuts and the seeds. If you see the beaks of the birds which are known as bird of prey like vulture and kite, they have a hooked beak for tearing the flesh of animals. In case of woodpecker, they have a strong and long beak for breaking the wood and taking out the insect inside the trees. And in case of duck, you will see that they have a flattened beak that is used for scooping out the food or the insect from the soil. Every animal, irrespective of their habitat, they need to move from one place to another. They need to move for searching food or making new homes or running away from the enemies. So depending upon their habitat, they have different type of organs for locomotion. Let's start with mammals. Whenever we are starting with mammals, let's start with human being. We the human being are most advanced type of animals. We have two pairs of limbs, the forelimbs or the upper limbs and the hind limbs or the lower limbs. For human being, we use the lower limbs or the hind limbs to walk and support. We use them to run, and we use our forelimbs, that is our upper limbs, to hold the things, to grab the things, to write, to show something. Now our forelimbs or the upper limbs are also modified. If you see the fingers, the thumb and the fingers are opposite to each other, which help us to hold things or grab things. Even monkey and apes uses their forelimbs in the same way as the humans does. In case of birds, they too have two pairs of limbs. Their forelimbs or the upper limbs are modified into wings, and these wings contains feathers, and these wings are attached with the chest bone, which are attached with the strong flight muscles. With the help of the feathers and the strong flight muscles, the birds can move or the birds can fly. They use their hind limbs for walking and hopping around. Some of the birds such as emu, kiwi, ostrich, they cannot fly because they do not have the strong flight muscles. In case of insects, they have three pairs of limbs. Yes, they have 6 legs. With the help of these legs or appendages, they can move and crawl. Some of the insects do have wings, but their wings differ from the wings of birds. They do not have feathers or bones inside the wings. In case of reptiles such as lizard, crocodile, turtles, they have special things in their limbs. These are known as scales. In case of snake, they do not have limbs. Snakes are limbless reptiles. They have broad and flat scales on the lower part of their body. With the help of flexible backbone and the scales, the snakes can move around or slither on the ground. Aquatic animals have fins to swim in the water. They have tail which help them to change the direction. The aquatic animals such as frogs, toads, they have webbed feet. If you can see the picture here, the webbed feet, the fingers, in between the fingers there's a flap of skin which is used as an oar to push back the water and move forward. Turtles, they have flippers. They use the flippers in the same way as we use the oar. They use the flipper to push back the water. In the same way, the penguins also have flippers. A variety of fish, animals, birds and mammals, they do a remarkable journey in a specific part of the year. This journey in a specific part of the year in search of food or breeding ground or proper place to live is known as migration. This type of remarkable journey is shown by mammals, birds, fishes and insects. The main motive of this journey is to avoid the harsh environmental condition or to get a proper place for feeding or breeding. Let's start with mammals. Mammals have a strong survival nature. They sometimes make short distance to move from one place to another in search of food and habitat, or in case of reindeer, wild beasts, they cover kilometers, hundreds of kilometers to travel to a particular place during autumn or spring season for breeding grounds or for proper habitat or for feeding places. Birds are the most active migratory creatures. They travel a long distance. Also, the modern means of transport cannot match up with these birds. The birds such as swallows and stork breeds in Europe and spend their winters in Africa. Siberian crane migrate to India to escape the harsh or the severe Siberian winters. Arctic tern, a beautiful bird, is a champion in migratory birds. It breeds in Arctic and spends winter in Antarctica. Can you imagine? From North Pole to South Pole. It completes one migratory round trip of almost 40,000 kilometers, equivalent to the circumference of the earth. Fishes like eels, they spend their life in rivers, and in order to breed or lay eggs, they go to ocean. In case of hilsa and salmon, it is a different scenario. They live in ocean, but in order to lay eggs, they come to the rivers to breed. And when these young salmons and these fishes, when they grow and they again move back to their original habitat, that means eels from the small eels, young eels from the ocean, they move back to the rivers, and the salmon, hilsa, the small fishes, they move back to the ocean. Some insects such as monarch butterfly, they start their journey from North America and ends it in California and Mexico in winter season. Locust, now in India also we have seen the locust. That never it happened around around more than 25 years we have seen the locust attack. That means these insects, and millions of insects, they migrate from one place to another in search of food. Locusts consume all the vegetation in their path and leaving the famine behind. Now we see the animals living in different habitat have different body covering. In case of polar bears, they have fur. In reptiles, they have scales. In birds, they have feathers. These covering help them or protect them from the environment or the habitat or the harsh environmental condition where they live. Birds have feather as their outer covering. It keeps the heat in and water out from the body. If you see a feather, it is like waterproof and it's act like an insulator. It does not allow the heat from inside the body to move out the body. There are some special type of covering. If you see in case of snail, they have shell. In case of turtle, tortoise, they have a strong shell that protect their tender body. There is one unique type of covering that is known as camouflage. You will see there are some insect or some reptiles, mainly the chameleon, they can change the body color. Yes, They can change their body color according to the surrounding, and which help them to, they can hide, or they can hide themselves from their predators, and they can save themselves by, they get totally mixed with the surrounding. These are some of the unique features of the animals living in different habitats. Our world is full of different types of animals, and they live in diverse habitat. In order to live in those habitats, they have developed certain characteristics of feature. These are known as adaptation. Adaptation cannot be bought in single day. It takes hundreds of years. Hope you have understood the video, and if you have any problem, you can comment it in the comment box. Till then, bye.